What's up, everybody? Welcome to the PixelPlay Sidequest, your bonus content here on YouTube. Adam, aka CS Radical, and Chris, Jin, and Chris. We are here for more JRPG best ofs, aka our best ofs. So sorry about your wrong opinions, but we're doing the proper top 5 JRPGs from certain eras. This time we are doing the 2000s. So the 80s were just a masterclass in trying to remember what was there because it was a little bit slim pickings back then. The 90s was all the classics and trying to figure out how what fits into what.
Yeah.
The 2000s, I feel, are going to be a what niche did either of us fall into and why did neither of us play that one?
It's so true.
I can guarantee 3 games I list in my top 5 will not be on your list. I can guarantee that.
Great. Yeah,
and
probably.
Then I can guarantee one of them will. I'm unsure about the second. So there is a pretty solid chance that 4 to 5 things on our list are not going to match up.
This is the greatest 10 list. It's 10 items.
Knowing that ahead of time, we have some rules. So if we manage to at any point match, like we've been doing, if we both have the same one or the same 3 or whatever, if we somehow do, that automatically is that spot. It doesn't matter what happens from then on. We matched. It's fine. We have to deal with it from there on.
For sure.
After that, if we assume that I'm right and 8 games out of our 10 are neither of us playing them, we will default to points. So if you picked it first, it gets 5, and we go back until it's 4, 3, 2, 1.
I like it.
I'm not going to try to make a case for it. We'll still talk about the games that we're going to list, but I don't see any point in us arguing over whether Xenosaga is better than, well, I guess that's a bad example. I think we both played Xenosaga. Between me saying that, I don't know, what's the most random one that I know you've never played, even though it's bad? Between Forever Kingdom and Vagrant Story, I don't know,
Forever Kingdom, that was my number 1. No.
You've never heard of that game, I guarantee it.
No, that's the first moment I ever heard of it.
and it's a good thing you did, because it's a fucking dog shit PS2 JRPG. It is a dog shit RPG. It's not even it's not even got a good anime cover to fool you. It's just bad at everything.
I love it.
So, because the odds are is a lot, because this really opens up now, because JRPGs, they started to really popularize in the 90s. By the 2000s, they were just overloading us. So,
oh yeah,
I can guarantee you that at least half of what we list between the two of us, the other hasn't played. I can, like I said, 3 of them I guarantee you haven't played yet. And there's a pretty good chance you'll list 1 or 2, because I'm sure you'll probably list like a tail end PS1 one or something else that's just kind of on the spectrum where I'm like, I've never gotten to this. So it's going to be hard to judge where things sit if I haven't played the damn thing before. And whereas with the 90s one, where we could agree that there were certain ones that worked because we both played them, that situation's not going to come up with like 1 game like it did in the 90s. There's probably going to be like 5 or 6 of these at minimum.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh well, it's going to be a fun ride. I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm so ready.
It's going to be painful because it's not going to make any sense, but hey, I knew this decade was going to be weird because there's just so much, because that PS2 library alone is just insane.
Yeah.
So without further ado, we put on the trusty Photoshop graphic as we get going. So, right off the bat, is Final Fantasy X your number 1?
It is.
Okay, well, we're already in trouble.
Oh no, I thought that was a good answer.
Well, it's my number 2. So it's going to be, we at least know it's going to be 1 or 2.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
So, because I know you haven't played this game, but I truly do think it's the best JRPG in this era, is Persona 4 Golden. And I'm sure whenever the reboot, or not the reboot, the remake comes out, I'm sure you'll see where that slots later on. I can see, we probably talked about it on the show on Wednesday. I'm saying this preemptively as we record this first before the main show, because of the way timing works with us and Kaylan. That you've been playing Metaphor. So you're starting to get a real taste of Atlas, and we'll be hearing about that. Well, we would have heard about that on the Wednesday show, but I'm not going to ask you for opinions yet, because that's not what we're talking about. But when you do play Persona 4, or even Persona 5, like, you'll start to get a real sense of just what those games are all about. But Persona 4 Golden, just to me, because a lot of people say that 5 is the best one. I can see why, because it is a game that is built in a PS3 era, so it did have a few more quality of life adjustments. The streamlining of the gameplay was a lot better. They really did start to be like its best self, but I still think Persona 4 has the edge. And this is what I always look with JRPGs being the key, is the story. The story is the best in that series, still to this day. Metaphor does a real good, it's not a Persona game, but it's still part of their like Atlas JRPG lineup that are kind of in the same vein. Metaphor is real close, but Persona 4 having this like murder mystery, like whodunit sort of thing. Like, I love whodunits. I love guessing who the culprit is and things. Like, every time a new Knives Out movie comes out, I just start to salivate because I can't wait. Even when they're like, we're gonna tell you what happened, to be like, yeah, but I'm gonna guess exactly how this is gonna turn, and I'm gonna be wrong every time. I'm gonna love it. But Persona 4 was like one of those games where I kept looking at stuff, and the first time I played it, I didn't catch the giveaway. And there is a dead giveaway in the original story the first time you play through it that you wouldn't think about it first because you're not paying attention. It's a one-off thing that you don't catch. The second you play it a second time, because I played the original before Golden came out on the PS Vita, yeah. And
so.
You know, having played the original and then going and replaying it again, I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, that is the spot where he gave it away. Like that kind of stuff. It's funny. But yeah, I do think that I still think it's the best setting too, because I think it being just out in the like the sticks, out in like this random like village town in Japan, kind of really sets the stage too for it being this really uneasy sort of like I said, murder mystery kind of thing. But yeah, like it's my number one. We'll probably put it further down the list because of our points rankings that we'll have to do. Probably be either like 2 or 3, I think, is probably how it's gonna go. But okay, so we can finally talk about Final Fantasy X now.
Actually, just before we do,
Oh.
I do have Persona 4 on my list.
I'm shocked.
Now,
but is that yes.
Just
because you're like doing it for the sake of like you know what its value is?
So I did research. I did a lot of research for this Sidequest episode. And as you will have heard in the actual episode, I've been playing Metaphor, as you mentioned. And it's my first Atlas game that I've actually gone into and actually been playing. And I'm very wowed, is a very easy way of putting it. This is a quality, you can tell the developers are quality JRPG developers. Like, you can just tell. So
you can tell why I stopped caring about Square Enix, yes.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can 100% see how Metaphor is like a 10 if you compare it to Square Enix, and then that would make Square like right now like a 4. Except for I would say like the 2D, 3D games, like the very retro throwbacks.
Yeah.
Not them,
but like imagine my awe playing a Persona game for the first time with Persona 3 after seeing the last couple of disappointments with like 12. And just like the direction they started to take at that point. I'm not saying 12 was like a massive disappointment, but I mean in the sense of like it went away from what was turn-based.
Yeah. So when I was doing my research, I was like, all right, I'm not just going to make this list on games I've only played, because there's other JRPGs I missed just because of, you know, it was a PS2. And if I didn't see either the box art or something in a magazine, it was also, I was in university at the time. I may have just missed it due to time, finances, all that kind of stuff, right? So I decided, all right, what are some games on this list? Because I made a list of like it's supposed to be 5, and I have, I think, 13 games here. And I'm like, all right, of these, even the ones I didn't play, I'm going to go watch some gameplay. I'm going to watch reviews. I'm going to watch some stuff. And
Jeez, you did more work than me for once on something? I'm usually the one that goes way too in depth.
I probably spent about 5 hours in the last 24 hours just watching on YouTube, a little bit of reading online, but I was like, YouTube makes the most sense. Get some actual gameplay, music, all that kind of stuff, right? And Persona ended up making my list. And I did go with 4. 5, I think, is after 2000s anyways. I think that was...
it's 2011, I think.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there. So that one I was like, okay, cool, that one's easy. And then when I looked at 3 and I looked at 4... I don't know how to explain it, but maybe just because it was a little bit newer. 4 is the one that spoke to me. That was the one where I was like,
that's the other thing.
Yeah. Because when I was going over the story and stuff, even the music and stuff, even though they're like similar, I found 4's to be just like that bit more up my alley and stuff like that. So
you'll notice it with every Persona game, it has its own style.
Yeah.
Like 3 goes very like hip hoppy. 4 is way more in like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like punk, like rock, like pop rock sort of
Mhm.
thing, and then
Yeah.
5 is completely like disco and like
Oh.
like disco, dance, like very electronic sort of
Oh, that's kind of cool.
like well, yeah, like dance party vibes. And then obviously with
Yeah.
Metaphor, it has a much more like fantasy, like medieval sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Every
hadn't
every
looked at
major game that
5.
they put out have been like I'm so excited to see where 6 goes on the soundtrack alone because they always do something different with it.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so I did throw 4 on my list. It's number 4 because it was like because I haven't actually played it for it to all of a sudden jump up to 1, 2,
Mm.
even 3. It was hard to defeat those games because I just have the nostalgia there as well. But it did actually come up number 4 on my list when I was like going over it. And it's honestly, this has been a game that's tough for me because I've wanted to constantly buy it on Steam and I just hadn't because it was such a big game and I had other ones in the backlog. And it always is like $15, just the like golden
Mm.
current edition. And now there's a remake coming, and I saw 3 got a remake and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, well, I can't play 4 now because if there's going to be a remake, and I've already got all this other stuff to play. So this is one I've been battling with already. So it making the list in the end didn't end up surprising me just because I keep having such an eye on this in
Yeah,
general.
and
So
knowing how we vibe with these kind of games, you are going like I hope with the remake they do with also the third remake did where they kind of make the dungeons a little more less like what's the word more like roguelite in the way that they're just like randomly generated because they end up kind of just falling together into one big cloud after a while. So I hope that they
yeah,
do enough improvements to that as well that make it really worthwhile because I mean even playing Golden is still fine, but it definitely shows its age.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm really excited for that remake. But yeah, it did make my list. It's in number 4
Okay.
spot. So
So there's a pretty
it
good
actually
shot.
gets
It's
a
going to
little
be
extra points.
based on points. It'll probably be 2 or 3, but 10's going to be number 1 at this point because it's impossible for it not to be. So we have
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
have our
I did
first
throw it as number
gimme,
1. Yeah,
which is no
yeah.
surprise. I mean, it also has a pain spot in our Square Enix brain because it's like in some ways the last really good Final Fantasy in terms of the mainline series.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, it is definitely the last one where it gave me the same feeling, hype, excitement as the first like 9 do.
Hmm.
11, I mean, doesn't really count because that was an MMO, but 12, while still a good game in my opinion, does lose that a lot. And then 13, 15, 16, they're almost like not even Final Fantasy games at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also a game too that like there are certain games that you'll play in your life, and obviously, us being older than we'd like to be, we've played
Hmm.
certainly a lot of things. And there are just some games where no matter how long it's been since you last played it, whether you played it a year ago to replay it or 20 years ago, because that game is now 24 ish, because it's like 2001.
Yeah, it's 24 years old.
Um, there are still many, many moments in that game that I vividly remember every
Mm.
second of.
Yeah,
And it hasn't
same.
changed. And like the like shit, even as because I would have been I would have been 13 when that game came out. Um I guess there's no better way of saying it. Like I realized the kind of women that I like because of that game.
That's true. Yeah, I
And
was
it
18.
evolved as I continued to replay that game because I wasn't into Lulu at first, and then realized, oh, actually, I do like women that are not, a teenager, as because I was a teenager then, and now I'm not. So now I'm like, oh, I guess I do like some women that are like not 15, 16. Okay.
Yeah, no, for me, I don't know if it's because I was 18. It started off, I was like, oh, Yuna's cute, Riku's cute, or whatever. And then Lulu walked in. I'm like, nope, that's the one.
You're like, yep, there we
That's the
go.
one.
I
Right
mean,
at like
also, you
from
want to go
when I was
deep
18
cut.
to now.
Fucking, oh my god, what was her name? Donna. Like the dark skin, like
Mm,
summoner that was always getting in your path.
yes, also. Yes.
I mean, she was
Yes.
cheating, though.
It's
She
100%.
wasn't wearing
100%.
pants.
There was very little clothing on that woman. Lulu was wearing like a hefty winter dress. I don't even know how to describe it.
How
It's a
that bitch
lot.
was not dying on Besaid Island every single day, I'll never understand. Was there like an air
Yeah.
conditioner? Like, was she? Did she have like a blizzard, auto blizzard, like in her clothes?
I mean, she was the mage, so probably
I mean,
she was just doing it
it is
herself.
possible.
Yeah. But yeah, that game is just phenomenal. It's the last great, like truly like perfection Final Fantasy, in my opinion. Besides 14. 14 is also really good, but to
Mhm.
me, that's an MMO. Doesn't really count for the mainline
Yeah,
series.
it's. I mean, by the letter of the name, it is, but also.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I don't know, 10. It just had that Final Fantasy vibe, but also that wow factor of like going from the PS1 to the PS2.
Having
Final
voice
Fantasy
acting
9,
finally.
yeah, the voice acting, um, the graphics, the story. We did lose the world map, but like it's kind of understandable with the technology at the time, like obviously. But it still had that vibe of this like Final Fantasy game that you're going through this crazy story and world, and there's going to be magical moments, there's going to be funny moments, there's going to be romantic moments, and it was the last one that felt like a fantasy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like 13, not really much of a fantasy. 12 was decent
12,
fantasy
I
wise.
think
I would
actually did a
still give
decent
that.
job at that.
Yeah.
I think it's stopped since. I mean, people can make a case. Well, 16's kind of like medieval, and I think they were trying to go for more than like not a fantasy aesthetic anymore. I think they were going for
No.
like a popular thing.
Yeah, it's more of a popular thing. It's not it wasn't their own fantasy setting kind of idea.
Yeah,
Like if Xanarkand, Besaid, like when you're on Spira, it's everything is completely unique and different and just somebody's imagination just exploding into a game, right?
hmm
You got the music, the different characters, like so many different characters that are interchangeable and stuff like that. And it was fully turn-based. I loved that. Like 12, you kind of lost the turn-based. It was much more of an MMO that you play single player, which is a little weird. 13 was more just party management where you just kept changing what their job, not their job, I can't remember what they called it in that game,
yeah.
but whatever
I've
their
repressed most of that from my memory.
strategy. Yeah, their strategy. And it's like, okay, switch to everybody's a medic. Okay, switch to everybody's a mage. And it was more just like a management game. And then 15 was like Kingdom Hearts. And then 16 is just full on Dark Souls Final Fantasy. Like, this was the last time that when you played the game, you were like, this is a Final Fantasy. This is a turn based JRPG that's colorful. The music makes you feel warm inside. The characters are beloved, and somebody's probably going to have something bad happen to them, but you're going to love the story along the way. And you're just involved and you're in it. Even in 12, sometimes a character would show up, and I'm like, who is that? I don't even know what that judge's name is. I forget who that is. We're in 10. You show me any character. You just mentioned Donna, who is just like a random other
I
summoner
can
that
name
shows
off
up in
so
some
many
scenes.
one-off characters in that game.
Yeah,
It's insane.
because every character had charm and a backstory and a little bit of development. Even the small characters, you cared about everybody you ran into, and it was fantastic.
I
Like they
forgot about the
still
other
kept.
really gorgeous skin girl, Lucille, the captain of the Jose Knights.
Yeah.
And again, the fact that I know
Yes.
her position is
Yes.
also
The
telling.
Jose Knights. Like you know that. I can't remember the name of the evil villains in 12. I can't even remember. I just know they were all judges. Like that's all I can remember there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
But
10
anyways,
10 is
we're like almost
fantastic.
20 minutes in, and we have basically decided one. Well, I think Persona is going to be
Okay.
two anyway, just based on points. But anyway, what was your number two? Because we
Yeah.
never even got that out of the way.
Xenosaga.
Okay.
I did go right to Xenosaga.
Now, is there a specific one? I'm assuming probably episode one.
Episode 1. 2
That's what
and
I
3
figured.
for me were not as good as the first one.
Mhm.
Xenosaga episode 1.
Okay, well, I mean, points wise, that does immediately settle it that it's going to be Persona 4 in the two spot. So, but yeah, I do
Perfect.
like. I would love to see. I think we've even talked about that. We'd love to see Xenosaga come back as a remade game because Lord knows that game was just phenomenally good and just underappreciated.
Yeah, and I wish they would redo 2 and 3 with the art style of the first game and that they'd never changed it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that first game's aesthetic, to me, perfection.
Yeah, there's so much to love about it. It also being like a sci-fi, almost horror-ish game, especially at
Yeah,
the start.
there was horror elements for sure.
It really does do some things that you don't normally see a lot of JRPGs delve into.
Yeah. Yeah, and the music was still great. It had the mechs and everything like that, which obviously is really cool. The voice acting was great. Very anime art style, but like in a really cool sci-fi way too. Yeah, Xenosaga to me, one of the most perfect games on PS2.
Mhm.
Doesn't get enough love.
All right, so that's probably going to sit on the board at this point, unless somehow we got some crossover here, but I don't think so. Now, I put this
Okay.
one on. It can be the first game if we want to, because you have played this, but you haven't played the follow up. But I do think the Trails in the Sky second chapter is the best from that era of Trails games. Because it definitely does
Yes.
really pick up with this. And a lot of Trails games do this too. When you play the first game, a lot of it's world building, and then there's a big catch at the end to kind of really suck you in ready for the second game. And that's exactly what second chapter is. It's just it starts a little slowly because it is trying to build off of what happens at the end of one. And then as soon as it starts to get going, it's just bam, balls to the wall for just the the second and third acts of that game. It's just incredible.
So that was your number three?
That was my number 3, yeah.
Yeah, I had my number 5 as Trails in the Sky 1, which I would be completely fine with going with Trails in the Sky 2.
I mean,
I just haven't
you can just
played
take
that
as
one
Trails
yet.
in the Sky in general.
Yeah. Yeah, Trails in the Sky. Or 2. I'm good with the second
Yeah,
one.
and I think because we actually have it both on our list, that just jumps Xenosaga by that. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. I'm trying the best I can to kind of make everything work in a way. Because, like I said,
Yeah.
I was thinking like, okay, there's a chance that you won't say Trails in the Sky just because you've only played like one.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't research any more of that series because I haven't played them yet. And Trails in the Sky second chapter or whatever it's called is currently installed because I do own it.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to research that at all because I don't want any of it spoiled. So I didn't actually do that one.
Yeah, there's we have a certain friend that is very notorious for going out of his way to find spoilers. You are not one of them.
No, I do not want spoilers. With Persona 4, I did avoid spoilers, but also by the time I do play it, I will forget. Like I didn't see who like the main villain is and all that kind of stuff. It was more like gameplay, music. Yeah, and I just didn't want to risk it with the second heroes because yeah.
Did it start on PSP? I have no idea. I'm just gonna put PC just because that's where it's at right now. It's one of
Yeah.
I'll say it again too to folks. Like, it is a difficult ask to get people into Trails now because it's not like it's you can just jump in with the next one that comes out. I mean, technically you can because the next one that comes out is a remake of the actual first game in the series, but that's besides the point. I will say this, and I say this to everybody: as long as you start with an arc, you can always play another arc later. You don't necessarily have to start from the beginning because it's a lot to ask for because each of these games is like 50 plus hours. So asking you to take on, let's see, 3 Sky, 2 Azure, 4 Cold Steel, Reverie, 2 Daybreaks now, and there's going to be a new one out next year. So we're talking like 12, 13 games. That's a lot to ask for. But if you start with, if you just like decide how old you want to go back, if you want to start at Trails in the Sky, perfect. If you want to start at Cold Steel, perfect. If you want to start at the newest one, Daybreak, perfect. As long as you start from the 1, finish that arc, and then you can decide if you want to just stick with the current timeline or if you want to go all the way back and try some of the others, because that's how I did. I started at Cold Steel because that was the first ones I saw. Didn't know there was another series behind it. And then I think it was the 3rd game where they finally started doing things in that series that I'm like, am I supposed to know what's going on? And I finally started researching a little bit and went, oh, there's like more to this. Oh shit. Okay. And I started, I think I still finished the Cold Steel series before I went back and played the other arcs. But at that point, I did a little bit of like Wikipedia research to see what was what and kind of made more sense then. But yeah, like, if you want to start at Sky, cool. You got a long road ahead of you, but it's well worth the journey. If you want to start at Daybreak that's just recently started coming out, no problem. Stick with what's new. They're fantastic games. They're not my favorites, but that's just, I've played everything and I have my biases here and there, but they're still good. And they still mean a lot. They still have some really good emotional value. Are there moments that you might not understand the context to? Sure. But saying to somebody, hey, you can't touch these games unless you've put 400 hours in beforehand is not a selling point. It's like saying to people, actually, no, never mind. I won't even make the One Piece argument because that's way too much work. Way too much work. So actually, I don't even know if there is a shot that Xenosaga gets taken here. I'm just trying to do the math. Oh no, you didn't say your 3 yet.
No, I didn't say my 3, and that's actually all that I have left because my 4 and 5 are technically on the list. So my 3rd was Tales of Symphonia. Tales of Symphonia. I had a Tales game. I had to.
So that's going to be your 5 then, because nothing I will top will have anything to counter. I'll give it my 4 and 5 anyway. But by this logic, Xenosaga is going to take 4th spot, and Tales of Symphonia will take 5th. But the games that I had in those spots, and 4 at Kingdom Hearts 2, I still think that it's while is the story good? No one cares. No one, like, anybody who tells you that they play Kingdom Hearts for the story is lying. It's the same people that say they play any Kojima game for the story. Let's be real. You don't understand it. Even the people that think they understand it don't actually understand it. We play it because we wanted to beat the shit out of Clayton from Tarzan. That's what we played that series for. That's all it was. And Kingdom Hearts 2 did the best thing. I still vividly remember the first time I did the fight where you are essentially fighting 100 Heartless at once, which was just mind-blowing to me as a kid, thinking that even the PS2 could handle that level of combat, because there's just a lot of shit on screen. So that was just fucking badass. And I do think that is the best version of itself. Like, Kingdom Hearts 3 is, I felt like that game was, to me, the same way that I view, like, a lot of sequels to, like, movies that I watched as a kid. I don't think Kingdom Hearts 3 is that great, but I just spent the entire time playing it with a smile on my face because I just felt at home again because it had been so long. I know there were other Kingdom Hearts games before it, guys. I just don't care. It didn't have a number on it. It wasn't important to me. And then the original game is just, it's fine. Like, it's a building point, but I think 2 is just the best sum of its parts at that juncture. Have you played through at least like a first couple of games? I can't remember if we've ever had the conversation of what you've actually played in that series.
I played through 1 and 2, which I did back on the PS2. I never played Chain of Memories until I got the collection.
Yeah.
And I played to a point, and then I just watched the cutscenes for the rest of it.
That's right. I think I remember that conversation now that I think about we had on the show.
Yeah, the remake, or whatever you want to call it, of Chain of Memories is not as good, in my opinion, as what the Game Boy version seemed to be. That one actually just seemed to actually make more sense. They tried to go for 3D and everything, and it just wasn't as good. But I'm currently playing through Kingdom Hearts 2. And when I say currently, I mean I've started and I'm already playing a billion other things, but I'll go back to it eventually. But I did get the full collection, so I just have a lot more to play.
Yeah. But they're definitely really solid games. And it's
100%.
I'm sad that it's almost become a meme at this point, and also I imagine Disney's not going to make anything easy nowadays. But you know, we live and we learn. And then the 5th one, it's just my personal like hidden gem that I think a lot of people still won't play at this point. I know some people have played games in this series, but a lot of people just have never gotten to this one. But that's Shadow Hearts from the New World, which is the final game in that trilogy. Well, I don't even know I guess it is technically a trilogy in some ways, but I never played that one. It's one of those games that it's like, man, I wish they would come out. Now I'll just type in Xenosaga here. I wish they would either re-release it or like with just like a fidelity update, or just like give some level of a remake to even to one of them. Most people would prefer the second one, Covenant, which I can understand why. I still have to finish it. It's sitting on my shelf, but me and playing old games is a difficult proposition for me these days. But they are. I still think they have the best combat mechanic in any JRPG, in that it's a wheel where you have to hit certain. It's almost like, you know, timed hits in like a Mario RPG, but it's a wheel. So you have like an orange spot and a red spot for critical, and if you miss altogether, it's a automatic like you miss the attack. Like, so it's a risk reward. You can actually make it so that criticals deal more damage, but it makes that sliver even smaller. You can make the thing go, and like statuses actually mean something for the combat. There are statuses that make it slower, or make it go faster, or make it go reverse, or you don't see the thing. Like, it actually makes the combat more interesting as you go, rather than it being just, oh, now you got to make sure you heal up a little bit faster because you're poisoned.
Yeah. Wow. That does sound good. I do have to get into that one day.
Yeah,
but that's gonna have to take.
I mean, like, I've played it on an emulator with when it's upscaled to 4K, and it's decent, but like, it's still a PS2 game. It's still a very old game. There's no getting around that.
Yeah,
you can hide it a little bit, but there's only so far you can go before eventually it catches up.
Oh yeah.
But aside from that, please image. Okay, you're actually being nice to me for once. Photoshop, I appreciate you. I love you. I don't know what I'd do without you. But I think we got a pretty, like, all things considered, this is, a lot of people are going to look at this list and go, wow, that's kind of an interesting run of games. Like, Okay, here's the thing, and I'm sure you're on your honorable mentions. It's the thing. Final Fantasy IX isn't on this list.
Which is funny because I actually like Final Fantasy 9 more than 10, but I can't call it like to me it doesn't even feel like a 2000s.
Symphonia
It was
debuted on the
like
GameCube too, right?
that was on the GameCube first. Yeah.
9, I thought about putting it on my list, and then I went, no, I don't remember much of anything from it, and we keep joking about this, but maybe someday we'll get the remake so we can actually figure it out again.
Yeah. Oh, I remember 9. 9 is actually my third Final Fantasy like favorite one. It's just and it's in my honorable mentions. It's just if I had to pick like the 2000s, like 9 is great, but it's just another PS1 Final Fantasy, which to me like feels more 90s or it's still like what we had there. 10, while I don't like it, like I mean, it's 10 is a 10 out of 10 game. It's just like Final Fantasy 9 is like a 10 and a half out of 10 to me. It's just Final Fantasy 10 when you think of the voice acting, the graphics and all the extra that they put in there that wasn't available in previous Final Fantasies, to me it's like it has to take the 2000s, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, again, like there's
Which
just so much there. I'd say we'd have time for honorable mentions, but we're at already a half an hour, and we actually have Kaylan waiting so we can actually record the main show. So we're trying to time this out well. But like flat out, like this is still a really good list, and I know a lot of people are going to have like, oh, why isn't this here? Why isn't this here? The 2000s are a weird time because there's so much.
yeah,
Like
and on
you
so
said
many
yourself, I
systems.
think you had 13 games listed that you're like trying to
Yeah.
figure out. Because I'm
Yeah,
sure
I
like
still have, like,
Radiata
8
Stories, Rogue Galaxy, fucking like there's so much out
I didn't
there.
even have
Like,
Rogue Galaxy.
and
Yeah,
Skies of Arcadia,
no.
we've never played. I mean, have you played Skies of Arcadia?
Maybe a half an hour. And I
Yeah.
did do research on it
But like
too, and
there's a
it's one I
lot of
know I would
stuff out
love.
there,
But
man.
yeah, when you think about it, Skies of Arcadia, Golden Sun, Final Fantasy
Yep.
9, Legend of Dragoon, Dragon Quest 8, Tales of Graces, Radiata Stories, and then the list keeps going on. I
Yep.
just don't want to scroll right now because my list is bigger than that.
It's ridiculous. Like there was
Yeah.
so much there, and that's when it really opened
There
up
was
for a
so
lot of
many.
niche audiences too. So that was a game changer for me. Like I really started to nail down like what I was into from games in that era.
Yeah, and it's like the Game Boy Advance, great for JRPGs. Then there was the DS, great for JRPGs. PS1, PS2, and PS3 was all in there. Xbox 360 technically had like Blue Dragon and stuff, I think, in that time period.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I wouldn't say too much about that console apart from Lost Odyssey, and even then I didn't get super into, but a lot of people swear by it.
yeah, Lost Odyssey too. Yeah, like it was just such a perfect. It was like they'd perfected like JRPGs where it was like, all right, our technology has gotten here now. Let's see what we can do like this. More 3D, voice acting, orchestrated music, like yeah,
Yeah.
and just so good. Such a great era.
But alas, you guys know the drill. Hey, we probably missed a bunch of stuff, especially this time around. We probably missed a bunch of things. So let us know in the comments below what you would have put on your personal top 5. But otherwise, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you guys for being here. And then obviously you got the link to our Discord with the link tree there at the bottom of your screen will be in the description as well. And we will see you when we do the 2010s. And that's going to be where it gets real interesting because it starts to die in this era. It starts to really slow down. So we might actually agree on a lot in this one.
Yeah, we probably will have 5 exactly and they'll be in the same order.
It'll be interesting. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. So take care wherever you may be. Bye-bye for now.